But it brings me to the reason we're here today. As we've done this nationwide audit, we found the worst offender, which is the state of New York. 53% of New York's non-domiciled CDLs were issued unlawfully or illegally. Now, what New York does is, if an applicant comes in and they have a work authorization for 30 days, 60 days, 1 year, New York automatically issues them an 8-year commercial driver's license. That's contrary to the law. That's one offense. But we also found that New York many times won't even verify whether they have a work authorization, they have a visa, or they're in the country legally. So they're just giving 8-year commercial driver's licenses to people who are coming through their DMV and sending them out on American roadways. And again, they're endangering the lives of American families. I don't like that I have to do this, but the law requires me to do this. I'm going to give New York 30 days, because that's what the law requires, to come into compliance with the rules that have been long-standing at the Department of Transportation. If they come into compliance, we're going to work with them. If New York refuses to come into compliance, because Kathy Hochul, for some reason, believes that we should have unqualified truck drivers on American roadways, we are going to pull tens of millions of dollars as phase one for the state of New York. We don't want that to be the case. We don't want to have conflict with New York or California or Minnesota. That's not the mission here. The mission is to get compliance, to make sure we have safe commercial drivers on American roadways and Americans are safe. That is the mission. But if we have state governors who are unwilling to cooperate and collaborate and make sure that Americans are safe, we will use every single tool at our disposal to make sure they do come into compliance. And if they don't, the federal taxpayer, the American taxpayer, should not be funding these states. So we will pull every dollar possible from every single state that's unwilling to work with this administration and these long-standing rules to make sure that when an American and a family gets in a car, they shouldn't be worried that they have an unqualified foreigner operating an 80,000-pound big rig that could endanger their lives, by the way, or an unqualified driver operating a motor coach. Again, if you get on a bus, you're going to travel across the country, you'd expect that that driver has been well-trained and they're well-qualified to operate that vehicle. We've seen in recent news stories that that's not the case, and when bad drivers that aren't qualified from other countries drive a bus, many people get hurt and some people die. We find that to be unacceptable, and again, we will use every tool at our disposal to make sure that this ends. With that, I do want to turn it over to our administrator of motor carriers, Jarek Bars, who's done a fantastic job. He's been crushing it for us. He also is former law enforcement from Florida, knows these issues very well, and has led the motor carriers team remarkably well. He's kind of the rock star of DOT. He's going to talk a little more about New York and maybe a little bit about California and these CDL mills that we're seeing pop up across the country. Derek?
Thank you, sir.